Well, hello, lovely friends. It's me again, and it's time to continue a story. This is a part 4, a fantastical part 4, because I'm really enjoying this story, so let's do it. By Reddit user Awkward Bohem. This is Living with Two Neckbeards and a Legbeard, part 4. Hey Reddit peoples, hey Awkward Bohem. I'm back again. So am I. So, Carrie and I have been in full-blown Halloween mode lately, and have been getting all the last finishing touches ready for our costumes this year. I totally relate to that, and I've been doing the same thing. Like, honestly, who'd have thought getting silver hairspray would have been so difficult? Anyway, this is what sparked the memory of this tale, and since we're in the spooky season, I figured it'd be appropriate to share this now. So this is our second and last Halloween living with the Neckbeard clan. The previous year, we had to deal with Mike and Janice's comments about our costumes. Carrie and I had opted to go as Chucky and Tiffany, which sort of pissed Mike and Janice off as they wanted us all to do a group costume. They wanted us to go as Nightmare on Elm Street characters, with Mike and Janice being Freddy and Nancy, and myself and Carrie being Glenn and Tina. They planned our outfits to the very last detail, including the crop top that Glenn wears and Tina's oversized shirt. But they were so considerate that they let Carrie know that she could wear hot pants instead of just underwear. Wow. How considerate. I'm sure you can all guess how well they took the news that we already planned our outfits. A hell of a lot of bitter comments. However, the bitter comments didn't last too long, as they soon turned creepy, as they tend to do with this pair, and they opted to talk to me like a child, as had become a fucking habit with them.
Wow, what an asshole.
And told me how adorable I looked in my little dungarees. Although Carrie, as usual, got it worse, she was told countless times how her dress was just the perfect length for such a beautiful and seductive character. Bro, what? They also went out of their way to talk about how sexy Tiffany was. In doll form, I might add. Yeah, that's what I was afraid you were gonna say. Ew. And would make sure to loop the comment back to Carrie. Like essentially calling her sexy constantly, without explicitly saying it, if that makes sense. I get where you're going. Then, that way, they could just deny that they were talking about Carrie. I don't know, guys. It just kind of weirded us out. I feel that, and I agree. Needless to say, Carrie and I didn't feel like hanging around with the creepy couple for Halloween this year, so we opted to take my little cousin out trick-or-treating. Mike and Janice had complained about our costumes as they were too babyish, says the pair that took great pleasure in talking to me like a toddler the year prior. We'd went as Cosmo and Wanda from Fairly Odd Parents, and my younger cousin dressed as Timmy, as this was his favorite cartoon. That sounds painfully adorable. And we're not going to get to do it this year, because finding costumes specifically for us is really difficult. But Sango and I wanted to get costumes as Bandit and Chili Healer from Bluey, because my nephew is Bluey. That's going to be his costume for Halloween, and we thought that would be a fantastic thing, but we couldn't find any, so we're not going to get to. I don't know what the beard couple were expecting us to dress up as. We were taking a child out trick-or-treating after all, so obviously it wasn't going to be inappropriate. Yeah, really. We decided to go trick-or-treating with my younger cousin for a couple of hours, then hop on the train to meet up with some friends from our drama group and go to a few pubs. However, we told Janice, Mike, and Declan that we were going to Carrie's sister's house for a drink, so they wouldn't follow us. Janice and Carrie's sister hate each other. Mike and Janice had planned to stay at home to drink, smoke, eat sweets, watch TV, so basically every day for them. I mean, I was going to say that, but you just took my line. Whilst Declan was going out for a few drinks with some friends. It honestly amazes me that people would willingly be around him, to be honest. Not too long after dinner, my auntie came over to drop the wee man off, as well as a pumpkin spice-scented candle to battle the Neckbeard smell. Fucking legend. We didn't really want him to be in the flat for too long. Carrie and I had really tried to keep the place clean. We really had. But the mess was so difficult to contain at this point. There were so many takeaway containers, and seeing as we only had one green bin, there often wasn't enough room for us to fit them all in. There was this one time that my uncle offered to take all the rubbish to the dump for us if we bagged it up. There were 8 full bin bags of just their rubbish. It was humiliating. Yeah, I've had to help clean out more than one hoarder space. I know exactly how you feel. It's unbelievable how much trash. Anyhow, we brought the Wii into our room, the only clean room in the flat, so that we could grab our jackets, wallets, purses, etc., until Carrie decided to put some thicker tights on, as it gets pretty cold here. We decided to give her some privacy, which, unfortunately for us, meant standing awkwardly in the living room with Mike and Janice. At the very least, we didn't have to deal with Declan, as he already headed off to the gym, no doubt to try and impress some pretty ladies with his manly scent, his B.O. Threw up a little in my mouth, but I'm alright. Mike wasn't really a fan of kids. Not like he hated them or anything, he just never seemed to know how to interact with them, which led to him avoiding them altogether. Janice, on the other hand, had often told us that she wanted to have a child one day, and how she was going to be such a great mother. That's debatable. So she was often a bit too eager to spend time with kids. Mike's face dropped a little when we entered the living room. He said hi to me and greeted my younger cousin with a, "Alright, go to bed," and a half wave. However, Janice's eyes lit up. I'm going to call my little cousin Tommy for the rest of this post. Tommy just sort of waved back and then returned to excitedly chattering away to me about how many sweets he was going to get. This is when Janice decided to head over to see Tommy. I saw her head over, arms outstretched, and quickly scoop Tommy up into my arms before Janice could pick him up. I know Carrie and I weren't the best at keeping ourselves safe from the Neckbeard roommates, but there was no way in hell I was going to let Janice get this close to my younger cousin. We tried to keep a distance between our families and the Beard clan, so for the most part, the only information they had on mine and Carrie's families were through the minor interactions that couldn't be avoided, and through them practically Facebook stalking us. Creepy. She looked pretty disappointed that she couldn't lift him up, but she was persistent, deciding to try and make small talk with Tommy instead. She asked him about his costume at first, which Tommy was all too excited to tell her about, and then continued to speak to him for another 10 minutes. I'd interject sometimes when things got too personal, like when she asked what school he went to. Not that I didn't trust them. Well, I mean, let's be honest, I didn't. But also, my aunt had been through a pretty rough split up with her ex-partner, Tommy's dad, and had opted not to tell anyone who wasn't a friend or family where he went to school in case something happened. Understandable. But it's just kind of weird to ask a kid that you barely know what school they go to. She then started to gear the conversation towards where we'd be going trick-or-treating, getting really specific about houses and streets we'd be going to. This immediately set off alarm bells. She was trying to figure out where we'd be going so she and Mike could accidentally bump into us when we were out and come trick-or-treating with us. This is something they'd done several times in the past, including on Carrie's birthday. Classy. Thankfully, Tommy was too young to be able to answer her questions, and I was vague as possible with my answers. Now, I know some people might think I'm an idiot for not just taking Tommy outside to wait, but he is a very sociable kid and he'll talk to anyone. But he does scare quite easily thanks to his dad, Wanker. So if I let on that anything was wrong or that I was uncomfortable, then the chances were that he'd notice and get upset. And trust me, Janice would not have been opposed to causing a scene if needed. Also, my mind's sort of gone blank with how we got to this point, but I do remember them taking a bit of tablet that they'd both been eating and putting it in Tommy's trick-or-treat bag. I don't know what that means, but to get him started. Needless to say, it was thrown in the bucket the second we left the house, and Mike had made some sort of attempt at a joke, warning Tommy not to eat too many sweets and taking out his dentures as an example of what might happen. Even Tommy, a literal child, did not find this funny. Still can't believe that the toothless weirdo does that often. Stop, dude. Thankfully, Carrie came out of the bedroom and we got ready to leave. On our way out, we checked the sweets we left outside. Neither of us trusted Mike and Janice to hand out sweets to the children, so we opted to make about 30 or 40 goodie bags of sweets and leave them outside for trick-or-treaters to help themselves. There were a few gone at this point, due to parents wanting to get the trick-or-treating done while it was still light. There were still loads left. We'd only been out for about an hour when we bumped into a family friend who had been to our street not too long ago, and she casually mentioned that there were only a few bags left at our house. It's still pretty early, and we hadn't seen a massive amount of kids, but we chalked it up to kids taking more than one bag and pretty much just forgot about it. Until we got home and found sweet wrappers all over the place. These dirty, lousy bastards had eaten at least 20-odd trick-or-treat bags to themselves, on top of all the sweets they'd been eating all day. How in the hell is it even possible to eat that much sugar? Their excuse was that those were the leftover bags. Clearly not, when they were almost gone only an hour after we left. Mike then argued that it didn't matter if they'd eaten some of the sweets, because the kids would be getting more than enough sweets anyway. They don't need these ones. We yelled at them, but there wasn't really too much we could do. The sweets were already gone and Halloween was over. We'd stayed out all night and only found out what they did in the morning. I can't really think of anything else that they did. This is kind of a tame one, I guess. Although, I do believe Declan might have gotten a few knockbacks when he was out, as he spent the next couple of days pissed off and bitching about how girls are just like sluts that act offended when they're shown a bit of male attention are so fucking pathetic. Oh, he's full on the incel train. And why can't girls put effort into their Halloween costumes like they do for conventions? Hot pants and tails, pretty fucking sad. Ah, yes, because all girls must choose their costumes based on Declan's dress code. God, I feel like a total dick just writing what he said. But needless to say, someone must have turned down his dashing good looks and manly odor and amazing personality. There's not really much to add to this post. I might post about the reason we moved out and the massive fallout. I'd be very game to hear that. Pretty soon, and then just add a little fun anecdotes about life with the Neckbeard clan in with those. I say that until Carrie mentions something that brings back more horrifying memories of living with these people, and I end up posting more. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Well, I certainly did. I've been fascinated by this story, I'll be completely honest with you. I know what it's like living, not necessarily with, kinda, some neckbeards, but having been around them a lot. And, oh, it's, how it weighs on your psyche. It's a whole thing. One, I'm actually surprised they just straight up stole literal candy from children. I mean, it is literal candy from children, so, good job, fellas. Real fucking cool on that one. But, no, this other thing, this other part of the story that we actually didn't hear, whatever happened to Declan, I have seen so many neckbeards get in so much shit, and the fact that Declan had to talk about cons specifically means that either Declan has been to some or knows of them, and for those of you who aren't fully aware of how certain things work at cons, there's unwritten rules, and one of them is that costume does not equal consent. Declan strikes me as the kind of guy who doesn't believe that. This is such a problem that in many places they have to put up signs to tell creepy neckbeards, hey, don't harass women just because they're dressed in a costume. That's really shitty. It's also gotten to the point that at several cons they also have signs telling people, you should bathe and wear deodorant. Yeah. I've never been to a con, and these moments, these things, people like this, the not bathing, the not wearing deodorant, the horrible stories I hear, more and more of a reason that I don't want to go. Everything about that sounds terrible, and I think I'll skip out. Although, I do have to say, on a completely different note, to our wonderful OP and Carrie, your costumes sound incredible. That's amazing. Like I said, we really wanted to do like a whole family group costume for my nephew, but I just couldn't get the stuff together. A lot of people I've seen who've made Bluey themed costumes, I guess because the show is still so new, usually made theirs, actually had to sew them and do all that. I can't sew. I'm not that good. I can make certain things, I can fix stuff, but I can't create stuff like that. That's just not a thing I can really do. But that is really cool that you guys did all that for your younger cousin. That is really, really nice of you. And I personally am impressed. I think it's really neat. So, at some point, I don't know when this episode's going to go up, but at some point I'll try to put in a picture of my own weird costume that I've been working on. It's not exactly the Moon Cult Leader costume that I want. I still have parts I need to get, but we're getting closer. And that will absolutely become a thing in the future. But for now, I have this one that I've been working on, not so much for Halloween, but specifically because there's a Ren Fair around here, and you can go in costume every single day if you want to, and, well, I enjoy it. So, with all that being said, though, that's the end of this video, and I look forward to the next part, and I hope you all do too. So, if you would, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. I have a Ko-Fi and a merch store. I'd appreciate it if you check them out. If you can't, that's okay too. I have a subreddit, r/Moonhorse Stories, where you can leave your own story, or anything that you find interesting and think I would find interesting too. Totally do that. Totally just do that. I have my own Discord, where me and all my strange friends hang out. You're more than welcome to join us. And, every Saturday there's a live stream. It's kind of like this, only we, talk back and forth. And I do really stupid challenges for donations, because I'm very stupid, and the donations help. But I love you all so very much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everybody.